Today's cryptid is the Boohag of South Carolina. Put him on the board, Anna. The Boohag of South Carolina. Hello there, welcome back to Creepy American Cryptids. Today's episode takes place in the southern part of South Carolina, where a terrifying skinless creature has been encountered. During this episode, we will explore the area where the monster was sighted, a description of the creature, the documented encounters with this cryptid, and what the Boohag of South Carolina may actually be. The setting. The Boohag is reported to dwell in the area of Charleston County, specifically in Charleston, South Carolina. However, sightings and encounters with the Boohag have occurred through most of the southern part of South Carolina. They have even happened into a portion of Georgia, in and around Savannah, Georgia. The creature. The Boohag is described as a bipedal humanoid female of about 5 to 5.5 feet tall. This creature is often reported to have no skin on its body and be red in color. The monster is often described in Gula folklore as being similar to a vampire, but feasting on a person's breath rather than their blood. This cryptid is known for stealing its victim's skin and wearing it until it wears out. The Boohag is said to remove and hide the skin before attacking a person. This creature attacks people by getting on top of them while they sleep, also known as riding its victims, leading to a saying, "Don't let the Boohag ride ya." This saying is thought to be similar to the more common nighttime saying of, "Good night, sleep tight, and don't let the bedbugs bite." The encounters. Once the Boohag has found a victim it deems suitable to ride, it gets into the victim's home through a small crevice, hole, or crack in the home. Boohags are considered dangerous because the victim will not be aware of its presence. It will creep around the house until it finds the victim asleep in their bed. The hag then gets on top of the sleeping victim and sucks in all the breath from their lungs directly from their mouth as they sleep. As this occurs, the victim is rendered helpless and falls into a deep, paralyzing sleep. Although the Boohag typically leaves their victims alive so she can ride them again and steal their energy, there are instances where something more terrifying occurs. If the victim tries to struggle or get away from the Boohag as she is riding them, she will take their skin, take nearly all their air, all their energy, and leave them to suffer and perish. After the Boohag has finished riding and had her feast of breath, she immediately flies off without even leaving her phone number. This is due to the cryptid needing to return to its hidden skin, where it must put back on before daylight or forever be unable to wear the skin again. When the victim awakens from this frightening and potentially erotic event, they sometimes feel short of breath, dizzy, and sick. However, some victims may just feel tired, slightly drained, and perhaps in need of a cigarette. Theories. A primary theory for the Boohag comes from the legends of the Gula culture. This Gula culture is named after the Creole language spoken in the Sea Islands and coastal plains regions of South Carolina. The Gula believe that a person has both a spirit and a soul. They believe that when a person has passed away, if they were good, their spirit goes to heaven. However, if they were bad, their spirit stays and haunts the earthly realm as a Boohag. A secondary theory is that the Boohag is simply a result of sleep paralysis. In sleep paralysis, a person partially wakes up before their body does, resulting in feeling like they are helpless and paralyzed. This also creates confusion as the person's mind is still in a dreamlike state and can frequently cause hallucinations. However, the sleep paralysis theory does not account for the skinless corpses the Boohag has been known to leave behind during some of its attacks. Conclusions. Some believe that the Boohags are real creatures that still stalk the regions of South Carolina. The first sighting occurred in the 1800s, and sightings continue to occur to the present day. This length of time leads many speculators to believe that the Boohags are indeed spirits or some type of undead creature. We may never have the answers to all the questions and theories posed in this cryptid. However, one thing is for certain, something has, and perhaps still is, roaming southern South Carolina. The question remains, if you live in this area, how can you protect yourself from being the next victim of the Boohag? Oddly, and perhaps luckily, we have a few tips on warding off the Boohag to keep them from riding you, wearing your skin, and stealing all your breath. Safety tips. Now for a new segment, Serveaux's Cryptid Survival Tips. Tip number 1, it's a numbers game. The Boohag is obsessed with numbers. Although this may seem inconsequential to your safety, this is actually an important tip. If you could be a potential victim of the Boohag, a way to ward them off is to surround your bed with objects that could be counted. This is crucial as the Boohag only has from when you fall asleep until dawn to attack you. Some common objects you can place around your bed include a broom, a brush, and a colander, also known as that thing you strain noodles with. The Boohag will become distracted and trapped by needing to count every straw on the broom, every bristle on the brush, and every hole in the colander. A Boohag will not attack you until this task is complete. So for this tip, go to bed late into the evening and surround yourself with things for the Boohag to count to keep it busy until the sun comes up. Tip number 2, season your room. A second easier tip is to simply sprinkle salt around your bedroom. Salt should be applied to the corners of the room, around the baseboards, and near all doors and windows. It is believed that the Boohag cannot come into contact with salt and will avoid any area that contains the substance. Tip number 3, paint it blue. Many porches, balconies, doors, and windows are painted with a color known as haint blue. This color translates to haunt blue in Creole, and the color is believed to ward off not just the Boohag, but any evil spirits that may try to enter. Hopefully these tips will keep you safe and prevent you from getting ridden and perhaps even sucked to death by the Boohag. Have a good night and don't let the Boohag ride you. See you next time, folks.